Hello, this is Stan, and this is easy low-cost mold making using a 3D printed shape and ComposiMold, a reusable mold making material. You can use pretty much any shape that you want and hot glue it to the surface. Use something that has a flat surface somewhere along it and melt the ComposiMold in the microwave for 2 to 3 minutes depending on how much you need, and for it will be your shape that you're molding. Let this cool to solidify. You can put it in the refrigerator or freezer. It will take about 1.5 to 2 hours for something this size. I just left it overnight. Pull it out of the mold container, mold box, and pull the shape out of the mold. The idea behind ComposiMold is it's reusable and remeltable, so you can make dozens and dozens of molds with the same material. After you make your first mold, pretty much every mold after that is using the same mold making material, so it won't cost anything after the first one to make the molds. Here we are mixing the resins together so we can pour it into the mold. This is the epoxy, 1 part to 1 part. ComposiCast is what we're using here, but you can use other stuff. And this is also the same process for using the silicone. We used our soft bait rubber. Here's a soft bait rubber. I'm adding a little colorants to it. And you can use other casting materials as well. Here's some examples of using the epoxy, soaps, ComposiStone, polymer clay, etc., etc. Now pour that into your mold. Something you can do to reduce the cost of the casting is to add fillers into the casting materials. With the silicone, you don't really want to add fillers into it, but with the epoxies or urethanes, it's really nice to add in filler materials. I use sand for the epoxy material here. What I'm doing at this particular moment is I'm pushing the mold together and squeezing out any bubbles that are on the in attached spots, and then I'm going to refill that with the silicone. This is our soft bait rubber material used for fishing lures, but I'm using it for casting material because I like the texture of it, and it uses the colorants very well. It cures in about 5 to 20 minutes into a really soft rubber, which I like a lot. Here's the first piece that we cast. This is with the silicone. Nice rubbery piece. The mold that I use to make this fish shape can be reused to make another one of these fish shapes, or I can put it back in the microwave or a double boiler and remelt it to make another shape anytime I want. We hear a lot of discussion about using the silicone mixed with cornstarch or any other moisture material to make low-cost molds. I don't feel like that's a very low-cost method because that silicone is still pretty darn expensive. You can only use it once. It shrinks by about 25 to 35%, so you can only use that mold for a short amount of time. Whereas with a reusable mold making material like ComposiMold or the impressive putty, you can remelt it and reuse it to make dozens and dozens of molds, so it doesn't cost anything after the first time. So that's our pitch on a reusable mold making material that becomes extremely inexpensive after you buy it the first time. If you have any questions, let us know. We have lots of information on our website, ComposiMold.com. We have free ebooks you can download. We have tons and tons of other videos, and you can always ask us any questions that you have. Thank you so much.